Focus with Kudzie, Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.
Good morning and welcome to Business Focus. We discuss a lot of what's happening in the world of business, as always, with Kudzie, Sharara. Good morning to you, Kudzie. How are you today?
Good morning, Tinashe. Good morning, everyone.
Before we get into the business of the day today, I'm sure listeners would love to have an update from the Technovation Expo underway at HITS.
Yeah, it's only fair that we talk about that one because we spoke about it through their information last week.
Yes.
I went to Sharara Institute of Technology yesterday, and I must say I was impressed with some of the technovations. It's actually a mix of two words: technology and innovation. I think that's the reason why they gave it that name. It's a mixture of two words, and I think so. They are basically looking at technological innovations, and I must say I saw a few there. But maybe just to give a brief in terms of what do we mean when we say a technological innovation. It's creating something new. So it has to be you're actually developing a novel product or a service or processes that are significantly different from the existing ones. It can also be about improving existing things through enhancing existing technology to make them more efficient, effective, or user-friendly. It can also be about solving problems. So it might not be something that is necessarily new, but you're actually solving a local problem that has been in existence. And I think just looking at some of the exhibitions that were there, I think there are some technological innovations that I saw. One of them is to do with when you make those plastic bottles, and most of the machines that we have in Zimbabwe that make those they call them PET blow molding machines. PET, the blow molding machines. So most of the ones that we have in across industry are imported, but Sharara Institute of Technology has actually made one. A local one with from scratch that they've made. It's still a small one because it can only do about 900 plastic bottles per hour. But it means
that's good number.
Yes, but and it also means that they now have the technology. They now upgrade it and make it bigger for bigger companies. But this is a good start that I saw. I also saw. From their pharmaceutical side, where they are also developing various pharmaceutical products, and the technology aspect of that is because they are using local herbs to provide. For example, they have developed a mouthwash, for example, from local herbs. So you see, they are now looking at whatever but even now what they are now taking is to say, okay, maguchu aya atinoona aya anenge asina measurements unongonzwa ichi mundara unopora une but these guys are now taking those and developing into pharmaceutical products that we see, for example, kana ari mapirisi. So they taking those herbs to develop ari mapirisi chao capsules. So they some of them they are not yet commercialized. So when we say commercialized, we are saying yes, they've been developed. It's now a product, but it still has to go through processes of registration, especially I think with the medical association. Is it medicine? Council for they still have to MCS, exactly. They still have to go through those processes. Like they've developed another one which is already been looked at by the authorities, which cures HIV symptoms. They are not saying it cures HIV, but it cures symptoms. HIV symptoms.
I remember one of the interviews but unlike our sister
And I also liked one thing. That was said by the Vice Chancellor, Kankangwe. So they were taking the guest of honor, Michael Reza from ZiG. He was the guest of honor, and they were taking him around doing the tour. And we went to one where they were exhibiting, my detergents. But to us, that's not what we as not technological innovations. Yes, we can produce these things, but that's not our focus. These are just basic things that we can also make, like mvura and shishi. So as a university, we can say, no, tazogadzira mvura, tazogadzira detergents. These are just products that we can also make, but they are not our focus, which I liked because the universities have been accused of that's not innovation. That there is no research in that because it's already there. So I liked that aspect when he said no, but that's not our focus.
But they're doing the most, aren't it?
Yeah, I think they are doing the most. If you go on my I think it's on my Twitter handle at Kudzie_Sharara, I posted pictures of some of the products that they've made. Of course, which are yet of them which are yet to be commercialized.
You're talking about great innovation that's coming out of your HIT. How is the appreciation of the local industry in terms of having their equipment, say, manufactured at Sharara Institute of Technology?
I think it then comes to, can they scale it up? And you remember the machine that I spoke about, which is only produces 900. You can't sell that to a big beverage manufacturer and say but you can sell it to Tinashe, because maybe Tinashe adongo gadzira mabottle ake edoi 900 ananga pay day anogona gadzira katoti one day. So it works for the small scale guys, and in any case, most of our the informal sector that we talk about, the small scale manufacturers and producers, I think they can benefit from such machines. I don't know what it takes and also the cost, but sometimes you can produce it, but you produce it at a higher cost than somebody who is producing
you find no one wants it.
Yes, because cheaper from another country, lenda Zimbabwe very cheap. So we need to find policies that make it cheaper. Remember the issue the cost of doing business and the ease of doing business, so that they can produce more for industry.
Great. Thanks so much for that update from the Technovation Expo at Sharara Institute of Technology. Kuska Saturday, that's tomorrow, right? Let's look at the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, the trading update.
Yeah, the ZSE continues to sing the blues. When we say it's singing the blues, we are saying that it's recording losses. It's trading in the negative territory, and yesterday was no exception, with the all-share index down by 1.05%, the top 10 index losing 1.52%, the VFX also coming off by 0.97%. And counters that dragged the market lower included Pro Plastics, which was down by 13.7%, CBZ easing 9.3%, Citco shedding 9.03%, Star Africa losing 8.83%, and NMB dropping 8.72%. And then, however, the market was not short of risers, with First Mutual Property putting on 4.66%, Nampec adding 13.68%, OK Zimbabwe also adding 11.63%, ART putting on 7.14%, and EcoCash also amongst the risers, up by 2.51%. And with regards to EcoCash, they've now received regulatory approvals from ZIMRA, as well as the exchange control approval from the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe with regards to that scheme of arrangement that they did with Econet, where they are transferring some of their businesses to Econet. So that's interesting there for EcoCash. And still on listed companies, I saw in the paper today, Econet has also declared another dividend to their shareholders, an interim dividend of 0.41 cents to its shareholders. So sometimes when the market is coming off, you can get cheer from the company actually paying a dividend. So when you're looking at stocks, you must also consider dividend-paying stocks. And in this case, Econet has managed to declare an interim dividend to its shareholders.
So Blam, Bamla, okay, from Fidelity, says that how do you see the unity trust market these days? Is it worthwhile as compared to shares? I saw a property development company selling unity trust based on properties that they are developing recently on C-Trade. How do you see the potential of that investment?
Yes, so in this case, the unit trusts are for a property development. So I think you then your unit trust then gets to make some capital gains or some gains based on how the property development will also perform. Unlike unit trusts that are linked to money market instruments, where then you are saying, okay, the interest rates that is then paid by this particular unit trust, does it beat inflation? Does it beat currency depreciation? So you find the money market related unit trusts are not as attractive as maybe unit trusts that are looking at property development, as in this case. So I would go for a unit trust in property development, which is another instrument that you can go for. Remember, you also have the real estate investment trust you can also go for. So I think for this particular one, I think it's I'm not a financial advisor. I don't advise on radio, but if you can talk to your financial advisor, I think they will also be able to give you the right information so that you can make an informed decision.
Okay, Anzi. Okay. Anzi ndibvunzirewo Kudzi kuti why doro rava kudhura in big supermarkets, giving out that's Opa Cubia for $35 in one of the big supermarkets, but Kugeto it's $1. Okay, maybe pane zviri kuitika zvatisinganzwisisiwo.
So you find that in supermarkets they are forced by law to sell in both currencies. And when they price their products in the local currency, which is ZiG, or even if they price their products in US dollars, let's say they price their products in US dollars, when you then pay, you pay the official exchange rate, right? So for example, if a product is priced at $1, you pay at the official exchange rate, you pay probably 15 ZiG, right? But this 15 ZiG that you have paid them, if they go back to the supplier, and let's assume that the supplier is saying, I want some US dollars. It means that the 15 ZiG that you gave to this supermarket will not be enough for them to buy some US dollars and pay the supplier. So these are the challenges that we are facing in the market, where we have got formal players that are supposed to accept
both currencies.
So what they are now doing is they want to increase the price in US dollars. So that pauno padarane ZiG you are now so which is not conducive for business. I think we need to create a level playing field for all players, be it formal, big businesses, and the smaller players. So you find kuti chingono shuka muma big shops ichiri kuma dollar something, but kuma tax shops kwese $1. So you wonder kuti vanhu vari kuhodha kumwe chetera, but it because uyo tax shop aringono bhadhara ari ma US because ari kureceive ma US. Wem shop uyo ari ku accept ma ZiG. And the party supplier wechingwa might be demanding US dollars.
Okay. All right. Okay, this one says, what's the relationship between price of shares and inflation or currency depreciation?
Yes. So, for example, let's say your share that you have bought has gained by 10%, right? 10%. No, my shares are gain 10%, right? But if inflation is at 20%, right, for that particular period, it means that my gain, I will not gain, I want to lose because chawai kwanza utenga $1 anditi wane $10, but chakuita $20 because inflation means that chakuita $20 kana chance 20% here inflation versus 10% here gain. So that's why linka your gains on the share market, you have to compare them with co-inflation kwa TK, because dollar rangu nasi rinotenga chingwa. Let's assume kuti dollar rangu rinotenga chingwa nasi anditi ndobva ndataiwa ini nasoda kutenga chingwa da kuinvesta, ndobva ndagaina 10% ndane $10, but chingwa chiya chandaibokwanisa kutenga $1 chakuita $20, which means yes ndagaina kuma shares, but chingwa chiya chakwanisa kuchitenga even though ndagaina 10%. So that's why you need to consider inflation.
So okay, atisvikere pa level roti hurumende chaguma yasunungura yangoti tengesa nemari inokudzorera zvinokwana, because katakapiwa kaike pa ZiG kuti tofanira kukwidza ne 10% percentage
zvaimbotwa kamajini kaya.
It's not being practical anymore. I foresee closure yema supermarkets akawanda if we continue ne trend hiyo.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we'll see them closing, but we must start to see my products shortages and maybe if it continues like that for a longer period, yes, maybe we might end up even having some supermarkets closing. It's a challenge. The policies that are put in place, they are difficult to put into practice. Because why? Because we've got some players who comply and some players that don't comply, and then it creates an uneven playing field, which means the formal players, those who are complying, will suffer, and those who are not complying will benefit. Like ipapa patachitaura nyaya yeprice yechingo unosvika mushopu chakanzi $30 or ningrini auko yanga ichitaurwa yairi kunzi $35 mushop uko iri kunzi $1 unonotenga kupi waunotenga kutakshop uya kutoluza makastoma business collapse. So it's a challenge.
Right, 7 minutes before 8 o'clock. It is our time. It is Business Focus right here on Capi Talk. You've got questions. Drop them on 0719100404. So, Kudzie, yesterday I saw a statement that was released by the central bank. Briefly over that. Kudzie will help me. Take us through about it. What was it all about?
Thank you. So, announce statement they got released. Announce exchange control guidelines akareleased kwane Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe to dealers, treasury dealers not dealer ne foreign currency vaya ndo vari kupiwa guidelines kuti kana uchidhila natinashe auya kuzoaplya foreign currency kana uchidhila ne-institution auya kuzoaplya foreign currency for imports, this is how you must conduct yourself. For example, the first one is duplication of invoices through different authorized dealers. So tinashe anenge achibhenga ne3 mabank anditi obva atora invoice yake zvinhu zvaada kuimporta from South Africa, right? Same invoice obva aenda kuna bank A oti ndinodawo 10,000 iri painvoice apa, oenda kuna bank B ndinodawo 10,000 iri painvoice apa, oenda kuna bank C same invoice iri kutenderera yakutoita 30,000 and yeti zvinhu zvaada kuimporta ndezvechi 10. So zviri kunzi the authorized dealers vari kunzi no, you must guard against that. You must make sure that invoice isiri same invoice iri kutenderedzwa kumabank ese anditi. So duplication of invoices through different authorized dealers is not permitted. And then pane imwe iri kunzi utilization of loan proceeds to participate on the interbank market. Again zviri kunzi tinashe kana achida mari ari kushandisa ku apply for foreign currency haifaniri kunge iri loan yaawana from the bank. So iwe ukaenda kubhengi rako unoti ini ndikudawo mari ndoda kuexpanda business rangu wobva apply ari ZiG anditi bhengi rako rokupa, but iwo zvinhu zvako manje zvauda kuexpanda nazvo business
zvoda
US dollar uri kunzi wakwanisa kushandisa chikwereti chimanje kunoita se kuno apply
US,
which I think is, for me, it's not. The Reserve Bank is interfering with the working capital of businesses, and because in a business, my US dollar loans are off my banks. One, are expensive, maybe. Two, maybe are my exporters, but in this exporter, do not producer locally. I want to import my raw materials. I want to import machinery, but andina mari yacho, and it's allowed in business kuti unonokwereta kana mari yako isingakwana unonokwereta ndo maloans acho kanditi the banks are there to intermediate kutora mari kunana patisani vanogona kuseva yopa kunesu isusu vasingagone kuseva kuti tikwanisewo kuexpanda mabusinesses edu. But kana zvakunzi you can't borrow, and I know the reason why they are doing it, speculation and people just go and borrow kuti vaningirike. But again, what about someone ane genuine expansion?
How are they going to differentiate?
How are they going to do it? Yeah, so again, I think that's the policy.
But I think they're just guarding Kudzie. Kana muna chinotora ma 10,000 ka 3 kuma bank 3 baba.
Ayo taipura yo taipura tati yes.
But yeah.
Yes, you can't go and take in and get 30,000. So that guideline is fine. That's why this now put a comment and now we comment. But for me, it's fine because
you can't do that.
You can't do that. Now to comment on this one, you can't use loan to apply for foreign currency. But I was giving a situation where I genuinely want to import raw materials, genuinely want to import machinery, but I have foreign currency. And hana access to foreign loans.
So ndibobvunza ukudzi panyaya yemaloni apa. Central Bank inopawo maloni here.
Aiwa, inopa mabanks.
Mabanks
anogona unopiwa inonzi accommodation. Where anogona kuita ka shortfall or ka mismatch. Womanyira ku Central Bank kuti ndine client yangu ine ma deposits andinayo. But at the moment ndina mari yekumupa because ndimwe yacho ndaita loan out. Impoti payochi
Okay.
Tikave gap.
Also, as a corporate, you can't go direct to the central
No,
bank
you
for a
can
loan.
go to for a loan. Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can go direct for a loan. And then the other one that is there is importers with sufficient foreign currency balances. Zvokunziwo kana maaccount mako muine ma-US dollar ari enough kuti iwe uda kuimporta chinhu che10,000 but muaccount mako mutori ne10,000 kudhara. Saka why uri kuuya kuzoaplya foreign currency willing buyer willing
seller,
seller.
salaries and other things.
Exactly, wabva wataura iwewe ndo panaida kupindawo neanalysis dzekuti sometimes you know kuti kune ma-local suppliers anditi ari kuramba local currency anditi kune ma local suppliers ari kuramba local currency anditi. Saka ini ndiri kureserva kuti no tinashe haabvume manje, tinashe ndiye anondipa sugar but haabvume zvachose local currency. Saka 10,000 iri muaccount mangu iyi ndira kubhadharani tinashe
Ndiwane zvandikuda.
anditi and then ndotorawo maziga ndinayo ndoenda kunoaplya kuti ndiimportawo zvimwe zvinhu anditi zvandinoimpota kune vamwewo vanhu vari kunze kwenyika. Then chibhengero rakati no but une 10,000 kudhara kutemo uri kuti aiwa you can't apply for another. But then what happens is kuti inini manje I can't ndikashandisa 10,000 iri muaccount mangu iyi to import kuti ndichizobhadhara tinashe ari locally I can't take mazig ndoenda nawo ku-willing buyer willing seller ndoti do ma-US dollar ekubhadhara tinashe. Zvinova zvanzi no tinashe haqualify kuti uapply mari because tinashe is a local player. Hatibvumidzi iwewe kuti utore mazigi uapply for foreign currency for tinashe. Tinongobvumidza kana uchida kutenga from someone in South Africa. But kudhara matonditi nini the foreign currency, the balances that are in my account, I must utilize them first before I come to the willing buyer.
Yeah.
You see, it's a catch-22.
Yeah,
yes, the Reserve Bank wants to balance situation yekuti munhu atori nawo ma-US dollar acho but ari kuuya arida kuapply for foreign currency now. But then again we are forgetting that we are in a multi-currency system and we are in an economy where some players are refusing to accept.
Hazvisi zvichazopromota ma-mattress banks here izvi.
I don't know, your guess is good as mine.
Yeah.
What will happen? Kune anonzi the law of unintended consequences that made also then arise.
All right. Kudzie, let's hold it here then. We discuss that statement tomorrow right here on Capital. It's time for the news at 8.
Business Focus with Kudzie Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.